And even in the wake of the bin Laden killing, U.S. CIA Director Leon Panetta reminded his staff in a memo, quote, bin Laden is dead, al-Qaeda is not. So let's talk about some of the bigger implications and also take a different look. For that, I'm joined by radio host Alex Jones in Austin, Texas. Alex, I want to get your take on some of the different aspects of this. First of all, I got to ask, was this simply retaliation for war crimes of the past, or, do you think Osama bin Laden was still a threat to the United States?
Well, yes, as an admitted CIA officer who commanded large brigades of mujahideen during the 1980s, during the Russian-Afghan war, he was a danger because the CIA basically is a private mercenary spy grid and enforcement grid of the private central banks. You showed earlier 4 of the number 1 main people the U.S. is after. All 4 of them were trained by the U.S. military, protected. Adam Gaddafi's granddad ran the ADL. He's known as, Adam the American. You had Anwar al-Awlaki, even the Pentagon admits, secretly hanging out with the Secretary of the Army while he's on the news as number 2 under bin Laden, running the underwear bombing, running the Fort Hood shooter. He's a double agent who runs the mentally ill patsies. I've interviewed the people that were on the plane with the underwear bomber from Amsterdam to Detroit. And they saw the U.S. government helping get the underwear bomber who looked drugged out of his mind on the plane. And I reported that a month and a half before the State Department came out and said, yes, we were ordered by an unnamed U.S. intelligence agency to get the underwear bomber on the plane. And that was in the Detroit Free Press. So the issue here is Osama bin Laden, according to 2 White House sources, and I'm on record with this, and another State Department source, we have one of the names is public, in 2002, saying he died, he's frozen, literally frozen, and that he would be rolled out in the future at some date. Then Madeleine Albright in 2003 said, and so did Walter Cronkite and Mrs. Kerry, Heinz Kerry, said, yes, we've been told by intelligence they've got him. Bush may roll him out, but because they exposed that in the election, they didn't do it. I have been told directly by former Bush administration officials when he was in office here in Austin, many of them live here, that this was going on very high level. And one of the names is public of the former Deputy Secretary of State under Kissinger, came on my radio show in April of 2002. The transcript of that is up on Infowars.com. And they had a photo that was fake, that they showed us of him being dead, then said, oh, it was fake, sorry. They threw him in the ocean so nobody could see it. They may have thrown a ham sandwich in the Arabian Sea. Give me a break.
Alex, let's talk about this. You're asserting that not only Osama bin Laden, but the other 4, most wanted terrorists by the U.S. have at some point in the recent history been sort of in bed with or a little too close for comfort
100%.
With the CIA, with the U.S. government. A couple questions, though, about that. What interest, if Osama bin Laden, it was, in fact, killed long before yesterday. I don't understand why you think President Bush wouldn't want that to be revealed. And also, why they would have decided eventually now to kill Osama bin Laden if he was indeed sort of working with the U.S.
Well, they had to introduce us first to Anwar al-Awlaki, publicly trained by the U.S. military. They had to introduce us to Gaddafi and teach us to be scared of them, to give our rights up. Osama bin Laden was needed to be the boogeyman, and that's why we were in Afghanistan and Pakistan, we were told, was to get him. Only recently, forget about Osama bin Laden, and then they pull a rabbit out of a hat and say, we got rid of him. At a time when Pakistan's saying, get your troops and drones out of here, at a time when they're talking about extra-judicial assassinations attempted against Gaddafi, which are illegal. This is a way to sell it. At a time when Obama launches his presidential reelection, at a time when Panetta's going over to defense and Petraeus over to CIA, at a time that the Afghan-Pakistan opium securitization war is not going very well, and the American people, after almost 10 years, are tired of it. They needed to give us a big win so we could walk tall and feel good. But sorry, can't see his body. We threw him in the ocean. And, we did show you a fake photo.
Well, there are some people who say that, that photos were taken, that videos were taken, and that will be released in the coming days. But I do want to switch gears a little bit and kind of widen this discussion. Let's operate under, Osama bin Laden being killed yesterday. And let's talk about good terrorists versus bad terrorists. China, for example, saw 6 Chinese Uyghurs as bad terrorists. They were captured by the U.S. They were held for a while at Guantanamo Bay. But then the U.S. sent them to Palau, where they were freed because it was believed that had they been returned to China, they'd be killed. So I guess my question to you is, why can't countries like China kill their terrorists too?
Well, that's a good point. I mean, a terrorist is anybody that doesn't lick the boots of the private central banks. And because the internal police state needs an excuse to crack down on the public, similar to Hitler firebombing his own Reichstag in 1933 to break down on the public, they need these outside threats. But yes, it's very hypocritical. We had them in the Liberty Dollar case a month ago. The Fed said that Bernard von Noothouse was a terrorist for printing up silver coins publicly. And so, I mean, basically a terrorist is whatever the government says it is. But if foreign governments call people terrorists, then a lot of times the U.S. government doesn't agree, because Guantanamo is really a training school for a lot of terrorists. They've sent some of the people to lead the rebellion against Gaddafi that are al-Qaeda that were held for years at Guantanamo Bay and other black sites.
You know, I want to, of course, lots of leaders around the world reacting to this. We heard earlier Afghan President Hamid Karzai saying, you know, okay, now let's take the focus off Afghanistan. We also heard this morning from Secretary of State Hillary Clinton sort of following up on this. And she said, let's remember, you know, that just because Osama bin Laden is dead, there's still a lot more to come. I want to play a little bit of what she had to say, and then I'll get your response.
Continued cooperation will be just as important in the days ahead, because even as we mark this milestone, we should not forget that the battle to stop al-Qaeda and its syndicate of terror will not end with the death of bin Laden. Indeed, we must take this opportunity to renew our resolve and redouble our efforts.
What do you think, Alex? Renew our resolve and redouble our efforts. What does this all mean?
I'm glad you brought this up. It's one of the only points that I don't have time to make. This is a lady who was basically co-president under Bill Clinton, that when the Monica Lewinsky thing came out that he was lying, he cruise missiled an aspirin factory in Africa just as a diversion, saying it was terrorists. So they use terrorism as a diversion, as a distraction. And yes, they're now hyping 160 nuclear bombs buried by al-Qaeda under federal buildings. I mean, that's like saying leprechauns have been, burying bombs. It's totally made up to scare everybody. And we'd all better let the TSA stick their hands down our pants, let the Federal Reserve devalue the dollar, or you're going to let al-Qaeda get us. And so it's basically like a Swiss Army knife of excuses to sell all this. So they're grandstanding and fear-mongering. Oh, no, al-Qaeda's going to hit us back now because we killed the CIA asset. You know, I interviewed the former head of Pakistani intelligence today, Hamid Gul. He thinks it's all fake. Most of the people in Pakistan think it's fake. They'll trot out a few people that believe all of this, but this is just complete theater. But we can't see the body. They threw it in the ocean.
I was going to say, Alex, I mean, you alluded to this a little bit about the secrecy aspect of this. I mean, there is a chance that photos and a video will be released. But right now, there's simply a narrative. There's a story and very little evidence. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I have the Washington Post, May 25th, 2010, where they admitted the CIA created fake bin Laden videos. I mean, they lied about WMDs, Yellow Cake. The globalists that run our country attacked Russian-held areas of South Ossetia and Abkhazia and said Russia did it for 2 days, and then it turned out it was a hoax. I mean, these people are off the charts with the big lie, and folks better wake up to this and realize this. I don't believe a word they say. They create fake videos. They've morphed fake videos.
But if they show you a video, Alex, you still won't believe it?
Well, I mean, I could show you a video of Star Wars, Jabba the Hutt, a big fat worm creature, but it's not real. The CIA admits they've created fake videos. Listen, they can shoot video of you in high def for 20 seconds and then show you murdering your child with a pickaxe if they want. And meanwhile, you're 6 feet under. This is the 21st century Orwellian system. Just like the old days, they could write up a fake confession in an old Soviet or Nazi gulag and then put you to death for it. Of course, they can create fake videos. They admit they've done it again. Washington Post. It's criminal. It's a criminal, illegitimate foreign banking cartel that runs America and stages the terror attacks or finds mindless patsies run by their MI6 Mossad CIA handlers like Anwar al-Awlaki, the CIA lackey, and Adam, the American Gadon, I mean, I remember 3 years ago, Wired Magazine said that the Intel Center that had the former head of Black Ops in the Army running at this private group was uploading the Adam Gaddafi videos with the Intel Center's logo in the same video layer as the al-Qaeda logo. 100%, they made it, okay? This is all made in studios at Langley, okay? It's all fake.
All right, certainly an interesting and unique perspective as always. Alex Jones, host of the Alex Jones Radio Show.
Thank you.